This is Daily Armenia, CivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what you need to know today. One Armenian soldier was killed by Azerbaijani fire along the two countries' undelimited border yesterday, marking the first known army death in action since the fall of Nagorno-Karabakh in September. In a statement, Armenia's defense ministry said the shootout took place yesterday afternoon along the border between Armenia's Vayotzdor region and Azerbaijan's Nakhichevan exclave. It named the soldier killed in action as Gerasim Arakelyan. In a separate statement, Armenia's foreign ministry condemned Arakelyan's slaying and charged Baku with trying to delay and deadlock the peace process. For their part, Azerbaijan's defense and foreign ministries dismissed the news of Arakelyan's death as misinformation and blamed Yerevan for stalling peace talks. There have been no formal direct talks between Armenia and Azerbaijan since September, with the exception of a meeting last week of the two countries' Joint Border Commission, which ended with no progress. Azerbaijan's lightning offensive against Nagorno-Karabakh in September led to the collapse of the local government and the forcible displacement of nearly all of the region's Armenians. Back in Yerevan, pro-government lawmakers in Armenia's parliament have rejected an opposition-backed ballot initiative that would have criminalized recognizing Nagorno-Karabakh as part of Azerbaijan. The National Assembly's Legal Affairs Committee, which is controlled by Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan's Civil Contract Party, moved yesterday to block any further consideration of the Hayakve ballot initiative. Launched in June in response to a widely criticized pledge by Pashinyan to accept Azerbaijan's claims to Nagorno-Karabakh, Hayakve sought to make recognizing Nagorno-Karabakh as part of Azerbaijan illegal and punishable by 10 to 15 years in prison. The initiative quickly surpassed the 50,000 signature threshold required to force Parliament to consider it. But with yesterday's developments, the initiative is now, for all intents and purposes, dead. In other domestic news, local lawmakers from the Civil Contract Party have ousted a prominent opposition mayor in Armenia. Mayor Arkady Tamazyan, a member of the Country for Living Party who led the northern Armenian mining town of Alaverdi for just over a year, was brought down today in a vote of no confidence put forward by Civil Contract city councilors. Council members then moved immediately to install David Khumashyan, a Civil Contract member, as mayor. Municipal elections in Alaverdi last September ended with no single party winning the majority of votes. Civil Contract and Country for Living, a party backed by the billionaire businessman and philanthropist Ruben Vartanyan, each secured 13 seats on the 27-member city council. That left the Armenian National Congress, which won the single remaining seat on the council, kingmaker. It threw its weight behind Country for Living, paving the way for Tamazyan to take power. Then, in a surprise twist in July, one of Country for Living's councilors left the party and aligned himself with Civil Contract, giving Civil Contract enough votes to oust Tamazyan. That lawmaker, Simon Zakharov, has repeatedly denied defecting to Civil Contract to allow the party to take control of Alaverdi, one of Armenia's most important industrial centers. Nonetheless, he voted with all 13 Civil Contract members to force Tamazyan out of office today. Recent years have seen Civil Contract lose a string of highly competitive local elections. In a number of those municipalities, the party has appeared to obstruct or undermine the democratic process after elections produced results favoring its electoral opponents. A key border crossing between Georgia and Russia has been reopened after hundreds of Armenian trucks were stalled there for about a week, according to Armenia's economy ministry. In a statement yesterday, the ministry confirmed that the Upper Lars checkpoint was reopened over the weekend for all types of vehicles, including trucks transporting perishable agricultural products, following an emergency meeting of a Russian-led trade bloc convened by Armenia. Bilateral talks between Yerevan and Moscow on the issue continue, the statement added. Reports of a major pileup began coming out of Lars more than a week ago, leaving some 1,700 Armenian trucks, most loaded with agricultural goods, stalled at the border. Days after reports of the holdup first began spreading, Russia's Food Safety Agency said it had found numerous pests and unacceptably high levels of pesticide residue in the goods. Those claims were met with widespread skepticism in Yerevan, where many observers saw the closure of Lars as an act of retaliation by Moscow for Armenia's accelerating tilt to the west. Lars is the only open border crossing between Georgia and Russia and plays an outsized role in Armenia's economy as Yerevan's only overland route to Moscow. Last year, trade between Armenia and Russia topped $5 billion for the first time, with about 54% of that trade going through Lars, according to Meline Abrahamyan of the Armenian Center for Socioeconomic Studies. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 63. That's the official retirement age in Armenia for both men and women. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.